Today we will begin with a new chapter, Kingdom Fungi. We've already done Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista. So today we begin with Kingdom Fungi. First we'll go through the general characteristics of fungi. Fungi are eukaryotic organisms, that is organisms with a well-developed nucleus. Most important characteristic is that they lack chlorophyll and they have membrane bound organelles like mitochondria, ribosome, endoplasmic reticulum. They are heterotrophic in nature. Because they lack chlorophyll, they are heterotrophic in nature. Now, with the exception of unicellular yeast, these are usually filamentous, branched, slender, thread-like structures called hyphae, and together these hyphae form a web-like structure that is known as, or a net-like structure that is known as mycelium. So you can see they have got erect hyphae, they have got horizontal hyphae, and these hyphae, they form a network called the mycelium. Fungi can be parasitic. Parasitic fungi have got specialized hyphae, and these hyphae are called haustoria. These haustoria penetrate deep into the xylem and the phloem of various plants and derive their nourishment from it, food from it, nutrients from it. The wall of the hyphae, these are the hyphae, these are the horizontal one, these are the vertical one. The hyphae, they have a cell wall that is made up of chitin, a nitrogen containing polysaccharide. Within the cytoplasm, all the eukaryotic organelles are present. Then they are also symbionts. For example, the lichens, which have got an algal and a fungal component, we'll be studying in detail, and also the mycorrhiza, which again have an association with fungi, having association with roots of higher plants. So these were the general characteristics of fungi. Now we will study about the modes of reproduction. There are three major means of reproduction in the case of fungi: vegetative reproduction, sexual reproduction, and asexual reproduction. So first is vegetative reproduction, and vegetative reproduction by fragmentation. I have drawn here a rhizopus or a bread mold, and the first method of vegetative reproduction is fragmentation. Vegetative means some part of the organism. Now you can see here what happens in fragmentation. A part of the hypha may break off from the main parent plant. It can be detached from the main parent plant and grow into a new individual. Any fragment can break off, and this can break off, or any fragment, this part can break off. Any fragment that breaks off from the parent plant or detaches from the parent plant and give rise to a new plant is known as fragmentation. And the example is rhizopus, mucor, aspergillus, etc. Then we come to the next method, and that is fission. So vegetative reproduction, then the next is fission. What happens in fission is nucleus divides mitotically along with the formation of the cell wall. So the cell splits into two daughter cells by constriction in the cell wall. So what is happening here? The nucleus is dividing mitotically. This process is known as fission. Fission we've done in bacteria also. Then we come to budding. Budding is the formation of outgrowths. Small outgrowths arise from the parent plant which grow into a new individual. So you can see here, this is the parent plant. This is a unicellular yeast. Yeast, in Hindi mein you call it khameer, and yeast, this is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. This yeast This is a yeast cell. This is the nucleus. There are other organelles also, membrane mount, ribosomes, vacuoles, mitochondria, Golgi body, and a small outgrowth develops here. Then you can see the nucleus elongating and the outgrowth further deepens. Here the outgrowth deepens further, and finally this bud is cut off from the parent plant. So this is the parent plant and the bud has been cut off from the parent plant. So these were the three methods of vegetative reproduction: fragmentation as in rhizopus, fission, and budding as in yeast. Now we come to asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is due with the help of spore formation. Like in the case of sexual reproduction, there are gametes, but asexual reproduction takes place by spore formation. So, according to the mode of formation of spores, there are two main kinds of asexual spores. The first is the sporangiospores and the conidia. Sporangiospores and the conidia. Now, sporangiospores are produced inside a structure that is elliptical or round in structure, and that is called the sporangium. So inside the sporangium, the spores that are present are called sporangiospores. So here you can see in rhizopus, these are the rhizoid root-like structures. This is the horizontal hyphae called the stolon. These are the vertical hyphae called the sporangiophore. Then here there is a rounded structure called the sporangium, and the sporangium has got a columnar partition, and inside this are filled spores which are known as sporangiospores. These sporangiospores are present in a sac-like structure called the sporangium, and the sporangium will rupture when this sac-like structure or sporangium will rupture, and these spores will be liberated, and when they find a suitable substratum and they find favorable conditions like moisture and temperature and warmth, they will germinate to form new plants. So that is germination by sporangiospores, and that is a mode of asexual reproduction. Next is conidia. Conidia are also present, and these conidia in lower fungi, these conidia are present. They are also present in ascomycetes and deuteromycetes. We will be studying the classification in detail afterwards. These are produced exogenously, matlab on the outer side, on the conidiophore. So you can see here a vertical erect hyphae that is called the conidiophore. So they arise from the foot cell, which is, and this aseptate hypha arises. Here there are stigmata, and on which are flower-shaped structures bearing conidia or the conidiospores. So you can see the conidiospores all around. This is aspergillus. These conidia also, when favorable conditions come and they land on some suitable substratum, they will grow and form a new plant. So this the example of sporangiospores is rhizopus, nuker. Okay, now the sporangiospores that are produced here inside the sporangium, they are usually of two types. In the lower fungi, they are motile, they can move, and they are known as zoospores. So these zoospores, you can see a zoospore here. It's got a flagella, and it by flagellated movement it moves. And there are aplanospores also, which are non-motile and with a cell wall. They contain a cell wall. As for conidia also, these conidia also are finding a suitable substratum, can grow into a new plant. Now we come to the next one. We come to sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is plasmogamy, karyogamy, and meiosis. Now, plasmogamy, karyogamy, and meiosis we will study in detail. Reproduction, vegetative, sexual, asexual. Vegetative में three types we have done: fragmentation, fission, and budding. Asexual we have done by sporangiospores and conidiospores or conidia. Now we will do sexual reproduction, and it is of three types: plasmogamy, karyogamy and meiosis. Now we come to sexual reproduction in fungi. Sexual reproduction is of three types. Sexual reproduction means reproduction taking place with the help of sex cells. So it is of three types: plasmogamy, karyogamy and meiosis. So first, what is plasmogamy? It is the fusion of the protoplasm of two compatible gametes or sex cells. What is protoplasm? It is the physical basis of life. The nucleoplasm plus the cytoplasm is equal to the protoplasm. Protoplasm is the physical basis of life. So what is plasmogamy? Plasmo means the protoplasm, gamy means the fusion. So fusion of the protoplasm of two compatible gametes or sex cells, and two compatible nuclei come closer to each other. Then we come to karyogamy. Karyon means nucleus, gamy means fusion. So what is karyogamy? It is the fusion of two nuclei from the two fusing gametes, and in this process a 2N or a zygotic nucleus is, diploid zygotic nucleus is formed. So in lower fungi, this karyogamy occurs after plasmogamy. The nuclei of the opposite strains get themselves arranged in pairs. So when they get arranged in pairs, you call it dikaryon, and this phase in the life cycle is called dikaryophase. Then we come to the third, meiosis or reduction division. Now what happens in meiosis is that nuclear fusion is followed by reduction division in the diploid zygotic nucleus. So when the diploid zygotic nucleus divides by meiotic or reduction division, it results into a haploid stage. So in meiosis, compatible nuclei are brought together by one of the following process. So the first is planogametic copulation. Planogametic copulation. Okay, so I'll write like copulation here. Copulation means mating. Planogametic copulation. Now what happens here? Fusion of two naked gametes or planogametes. One or both gametes are motile. Both the gametes that are fusing together, they are motile. So that is called planogametic copulation. In the case of planogametic copulation, it can be of three types. Iso means same, aniso means different. Uo is the female sex cell. In isogamy, the fusing gametes are morphologically the same. Iso means same, so morphologically, outwardly, this appear to be same, but their function is different, so they are physiologically different. In an isogamy, the fusing gametes are both morphologically also different, matlab in shape and size they are different, and then functionally also they are different. For example, the male gametes, morphologically they are smaller. Female gametes morphologically are larger. Similarly, the male gametes are physiologically motile and female gametes are non-motile. So an isogamy means fusing gametes are morphologically and physiologically different. Now we come to oogamy. Oogamy, the female gamete is non-motile and the male gamete is motile. The most important thing is that these male and female gametes are born in special structures called gametangia. So special gametangia bear the female gamete and special gametangia bear the male gamete. This special gametangia is known as oogonium, and here the special gametangium is known as antheridium.